Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. I'm Simura here and today we're gonna talk about the basics of Street Fighter 6. If you're someone who's lucky enough to play the closed beta but you're finding some crazy people out there who's doing like absurd stuff, well, this video is for you. And if they did that open beta and you're from the future, well, how it is in the future, but welcome as well. And even if you don't have access to the game whatsoever, then you're also welcome. Today we're talking basics of Street Fighter 6. It's just like any other Street Fighter game. Back to block, you got dashes, jumps, special moves, 6 button, light, medium, heavy, punches and kicks. All of that is very similar. Throws are still like light punch and light kick. But this game is different from other games because it have what is called the drive system. If you take a look at Luke's life gauge, beneath it there are 6 green stocks, and this is the drive gauge. You have new abilities that when you use them, they will consume that drive gauge, right? And this kind of doubles as your meter, but also in some ways like stun gauge, and I will get into it. You will see, right? You will see what I mean. So what are these abilities? The first one is actually very straightforward, EX moves. This is Luke's like light flash knuckle. If you do them with 2 bunches, you get the EX flash knuckle, and this will consume 2 stocks of your drive gauge, right? So you get like 3 EX special moves, right? Before you have consumed it, and you go into burnout. Now, one interesting thing about EX moves in this game, or as they call them OD moves, is that some attacks have extensions, and if you happen to do the extension, it will consume 3 stocks. For example, Luke's EX Flash Knuckle. This is how it typically looks, right? This consumes 2 gauges, but if you press punches during the attack, he will do the DDT version, and notice this consumes 3 gauges. This applies to his uppercut as well, right? This is the 2 stocks version. If you happen to press punches when he's in the air, like he will do this dunk, and that took a 3rd stock. Are these worth it? From my experience, depends on the character, but for example, like let's say you're like fighting against someone, they jumped in on you like that, and that could kill, then sure, like go for it, right? In some situations, they can be helpful. So EX moves are the first abilities that you get to use with the drive gauge. What's next? Well, there is what is called the drive impact, and this is a very big deal in this game. If you have played Street Fighter 4, this is pretty much a focus attack. It's an armored move, but this one is crazy because you can do a lot with this, right? When you happen to hit someone with it, they will get knocked back, as you can see, right? And the cool thing about it is that near the wall, this will cause a wall splat, and you actually get to follow up here, right? If I happen to hit them with a wall splat, like you can get a combo out of that, right? But the crazy part is that this happens on block as well. Like if the opponent is blocking mid-screen, like they will get pushed backward, like whoa. But near the wall, this will call a wall splat as well, and you get to follow up with a combo here. So it's very dangerous. And like I said, this is like an armored attack. It's like focus. So let's say, for example, like, right? We will record Luke doing that. Right here, I can armor through his moves. Right, and as you can see, when you happen to armor through attacks like that, and you get to hit it, like a counter. Let me turn off my alarm. If you happen to hit it as a counter, you will get like the big slow-mo, and you will get like pretty much a crumble state. You get to do whatever you want, right? This is very powerful because this only consumes 1 stock of your drive gauge. And the most scary thing here is that you can special cancel into drive impact. So you can do stuff like that, right? And like get some crazy follow-ups here. I made the beast mode, baby, but you get what I'm saying, right? So how do we counter drive impact? Because Mura, that seems crazy. Well, first of all, you have to practice it. Let's make the opponent dummy use their drive impact. The first things that you can do is that you can throw them out of it, right? It's throwable. Throw ranges in Street Fighter 6 are somewhat bigger than Street Fighter 5. So this is a viable option, especially like if the opponent is doing it like as you're near the wall. I will say this is actually a pretty good answer. Another thing that you can do is parries, because if you press medium punch and medium kick, kind of like a UV skill, you will do a parry. And notice this consumes half of your like half of a drive stock, right? But the thing about these parries is that they're kind of like a Mortal Kombat block button. As long as you're holding it, Luke is gonna like assume the parry stance, and like even if they do it at any time, you will auto parry it. And notice this actually replenish your gauge when you happen to parry it. So parrying is a powerful option. You're not typically gonna get a punish here. Like typically you're gonna be at an advantage, but not enough to punish. Another option that you can do is invincibility. Like let's say for example here, you use Luke's level 1 super. Yeah, that's gonna be a punish because this super is invincible, right? And obviously level 3 as well, in some instances EXDBs. But still the best answer is gonna be drive impact them back, right? Because drive impact start at frame 1, you drive impact them back, and you will get the punish counter, you will get the big slowdown, and you will get the crumble combo. This is very important. This is very important to learn, right? One answer that some people like to do is neutral jump. I kinda don't love it because if you happen to react a little bit late, you can get hit out of the air. So yeah, I don't love this answer, but it is where you can neutral jump, land with your cross up normal, and that is a possible answer, right? I figured I have to say it. But like I said, one thing I said is parries, right? You can parry. And parries are powerful in this game because they are frame 1. Unlike most of the parries in Street Fighter V, here they are actually frame 1. So this is dangerous, right? And one of the things about them is that if you happen to get a perfect parry, you will actually get a punish here. It does like a big slow down and you get to punish the opponent, right? As you can see, here I got the perfect parry and I'm able to punish the opponent. Look, you will actually get him in a punish counter. So the punish here can be quite severe, right? There is a lot of scaling here, but you do actually get this. And frame 1 means that you can do it almost on reaction to anything, but the window is tight. But frame 1 also means that you can do this on wake up. You can wake up parry, and if the opponent happens to do a meaty, you can get a perfect parry. Parries are a big part of this game. But one of the things that you can do out of parries is parrying fireballs, right? Because fireballs in this game are kind of fast, right? So typically if you happen to block fireballs or block anything really, it will consume your drive gauge. Take a look at this, my drive gauge is going down simply because I'm blocking. So parrying is actually one of the main ways that you get to replenish your drive gauge. As you can see, as long as I'm doing it, I'm able to maintain its ability to go up. I don't really have to block the Sand Blaster and let my drive go down. So parrying is one of the key ways that you get to replenish your gauge. And one of the cool things about parries is that you can start offense out of them. If you happen to hold the parry stance and then do a dash or forward, your character will do this green run, and this is called drive rush, right? And drive rush is one of the most important techniques in this game because it fundamentally changes your next action. Your next move out of drive rush will have different properties. One of the key ones is frame data. For example, this is Luke's standing medium punch. As you can see, typically it is -3, right? But when you happen to do it out of a drive rush, it's gonna be +1. And this extends to on hit as well. Drive rush add 4 frames of advantage to your attack. This happens on hit and on block. So on block, let's say for example, I can drive rush and then get to throw them. This is really cool. And on hit, you can get a follow-up here as well, right? Typically on hit, this is +2. When I happen to do it out of a drive rush, it's gonna be +6, right? Which means that I will be able to link a crouching medium punch afterwards, right? So you get like pretty much a full combo here, right? Like take a look at how fast this is going. Yeah, that is really good. Now you can do drive rush out of a parry, but you can also do it out as a cancel out of your special cancelable normals. So for example, if I'm doing like standing heavy punch, this is normal, I can special cancel. So I can special cancel that into a drive rush to kind of go for pressure and you can use this for combos as well, but this will consume 3 stocks of your drive gauge, right? Take a look at Luke's bar. This is 3 stocks. What a lot of players like to do is say do a normal like heavy punch, and then they will get a dash, and you can like get a full combo here. The addition in like frames is crazy, so you can get stuff like that. A lot of people like to do that, but this will like burn through your drive gauge immediately. This is good, but I think the best use for it is to whiff punish like into it. For example, like if you say do one crouching medium kick, right? That's a lot of damage from a crouching medium kick. So this is one of the key ways to play this game. You wanna like do a normal and cancel into drive rush. Street Fighter 6, in all honesty, there is not a lot of blossom block normals. For example, for a character like Luke, in fact, his only blossom block normal is his crouching medium punch. So to get plus frames, typically you actually need to go for drive rush normals, because that is one of the best ways to maintain plus frames. So using it like that for pressure is key, right? And even then in the neutral, you can always just surprise the opponent with the dash and then go for the grab. This is really good. Now, it doesn't just change the frame data on the attack, it also changes its properties. For example, this is Luke's light flash knuckle. If I try to use a crouching heavy punch after it, well, nothing happened, right? But if I do a drive rush after it, the crouching heavy punch is juggling. So you actually get follow-ups here, and this enables the characters to do really cool combos. For example, like let me get this straight, right? This is a typical Luke combo, which is actually really good, right? But if I happen to get the like the drive rush after the light flash knuckle, right, now I'm getting way more. I'm able to like drive rush and then do this and kind of continue on the juggle. I have done a couple of combo videos. I will leave a link to them in the description so you can take a look at this, but this is one of the key applications of drive rush, right? And if you're using other characters, I'm not sure if I'm able to switch characters here, but some characters, for example, can like throw fireballs, and then drive rush kind of has a way to close the distance. It can be really good. Now, the final technique out of the drive system is the drive reversal, and this is pretty much a V reversal, right? You happen to block an attack and you use your drive reversal. It will knock down the opponent away or knocks them away. Let me show you what it does, right? It will knock them away, but it will deal only gray health. They're not that good in this game because they are very expensive. Like for 2 stocks, that is really expensive. So not a lot of people use them, and they are really negative on block. So not a lot of people really use them. Well, what happens when you run out of drive? When you run out of drive, you will enter what is called burnout state. Your character will have slower walk speed here, right? But it also have a lot of other deficiencies. First, you will not be able to use any of your drive abilities, so no EX moves for you, no drive impact, no drive rush, nothing, but the opponent is really able to use everything they got. But this also gets way worse, because let's say for example here is this Luke. Let me record him. Right. In Street Fighter 6, when you happen to block moves, there is no ship damage, right? So as I'm blocking, notice my drive is going down, but my HP is not, right? This is actually important to note. But when you're in burnout state, you will actually get shipped. Take a look at this, I'm losing HP, and in this game you can get KO'd by chip, so this is a pretty big deal. Another one is frame advantage. When, say for example, the opponent Luke is doing his crouching medium punch, this is only +1, right? But when I am in burnout, right, and he does the same thing, it's gonna be +5, he gets 4 more frame of advantage, right? Another thing that is very vital is that when you're near the wall and you're in burnout state, let's actually make the opponent now in a burnout state, right? If you're near the wall and you're burnt out and you get hit on block or hit by drive impact, you're gonna get stunned, so you will pretty much eat like a full jumping combo, right? This is important because, like I said, the best answer to drive impact is drive impact, is to drive impact them back. So having to deal with this, well, yeah, you will have very little answers once you're in burnout. There are very little ways that you can deal with this, like drive impact near the wall. If you don't have your own drive impact, yeah, that's pretty much a guaranteed stun. It's awful. You don't want to be there. Being a burnout is really brutal in this game. Now, one other thing that I really want to highlight as well in this game, that it's a very important mechanic, is what is called punish counter. And punish counter is when you punish the opponent, you're pretty much hitting them during recovery frames. They don't have to be like doing like a DP, it's just any recovery frames. For example, right, let's make him do a Sandblaster, right? If I'm hitting him during the recovery of Sandblaster, notice he's getting hit by punish counter, right? Or let's make him do something that is unsafe, right? So he's gonna do the heavy knuckle. In this game, this is actually unsafe, right? Right. So typically my crouching jab, that is +5. So I can't get a crouching jab into crouching medium, right? But if I happen to do it as a punish to his heavy flash knuckle, it's gonna be +9, right? This actually means I can get way more here. How's a combo, right? +4 advantage is gigantic, right? Even on a +4 like that, you can get like a crouching heavy out of that, but obviously due to the range, it doesn't work. But yeah, on a punish counter, you're pretty much getting what you want. It's a very big part of this game, and it's really important to practice it and know your punish counter combos. And that is pretty much it. That are the basics of the game. Obviously, it's still brand new, we're still learning. All of this is subject to change, but it's really fun, it's really dynamic, it's a really flexible system. You can play defensively, you can play offensively. There is a lot of different ways that the character gets to use drive in their own unique ways, and like I said, it's a ton of fun. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. Helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.